President Kamala Harris into the presidential campaign, and she has now secured enough delegates to become the nominee, you're going to look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color, but really as anyone who claims to have any connection to the culture. You're going to look real weird and real lonely on that side. The door needs to close behind Amber. And she looked crazy over there.
So as you've probably have seen, it is go time for the black bougie elite, the black gatekeepers, the tap dancers for the white liberal puppet masters. They have been dispatched primarily to tell black men to get in line and vote for Kamala Harris. They have been sent out with the marching orders, with the agenda to lambast, to denigrate, to disrespect any black man that even thinks about voting for Donald Trump. Any black man that even thinks about sitting this one out. Joy Reid is the primary attack dog that has been dispatched. See, you have to understand something. These white liberal puppet masters love the matriarchy. They're the ones that set it up in the black community. They're the ones that have led to the destruction in the black community. Why do you think a lot of these cities, these inner cities, have been run by Democrats for 60, 70 years? Why do you think nothing has changed in these communities? Because the Democrats, the liberals, see, that's all part of the Marxist plan to disrupt the nuclear family, to break up the family. And so therefore they have switched things up. They did not want the biblical order, the nuclear family, God's idea of a family with the man, the woman, and the children. They don't want that because they know that is the proper way to build up a civil society. There's a proper way to build up a society that would pass on biblical values to their children. So what do? They kick the black man out, they move the man out, and now the community and now the families are easy to be controlled, easy to be maintained, easy to be manipulated. That's why they want women in charge. They're easier to control. You can control their emotions, you can manipulate them, you can do certain things with them. And so therefore, they want that same type of structure at the national level so they can fully usher in their plan. But there's one stumbling block. Black men, especially younger black men, especially black men that believe in biblical values, especially black men that want to have true families, true biblical families. And so what do? They dispatch the black gatekeepers. They dispatch the black bougie elite. They dispatch people like Joy Reid to attack black men that want to have a biblical family. I'm not even talking about on a political level. Black men that agree with the way things are listed in the Word of God. Black men that believe in the natural order. She attacks those people.
You've seen this kind of election before. You see the same thing in Hungary. Like the Orbanism of the party is, it's rooted in returning white Christian men, but also white men and white adjacent men, you know, right. Black men, brown right. men who are like white adjacent in terms of trying to also be in that dominant position in society. And then you have women who are willing to go along with that, right? There are a certain number of women who are also willing, the trad wife sort of thing.
You heard that, right? Black men who believe in biblical values, black men who believe in the natural order, black men who believe in the way that God designed the family structure, the family unit, because it was God's intention, it was God's ideas, God's institution. Now you are white adjacent. So people like myself, people like you, we're white adjacent now. We're trying to be white. And women that go along with that are also a part of this white adjacency. When did having a strong nuclear family become synonymous with being white? You know, back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, black families were intact. Were they white adjacent? This is a Marxist liberal ideology. The intention is to disrupt the nuclear family. The intention is to usher in this feministic matriarchal society. They've done that in the black community by and large, and we've seen the negative rotten fruit of that. And so now they're going to elevate Kamala Harris to execute this at a national level. And any black man that does not get on board, you better be ready to hear things like this. You're going to be called the black face of white supremacy. You're going to be called a black face speaking white supremacy. You're going to be called white adjacent. You're going to be called coon. You're going to be called all kinds of stuff simply because you chose to think for yourself and you got out of the Democratic plantation mindset. You are going to be hounded by these house Negroes, these black gatekeepers who want to keep you in line because massa wants you to vote for Kamala Harris.
Hey fam, okay, I just gotta say it. I just gotta say it. Given the just stratospheric entrance of Vice President Kamala Harris into the presidential campaign.
Stratospheric? You mean how she was placed in that position without merit? How she didn't win a single delegate? How it was just handed to her? Now, if that would happen to a white woman or a white man, I'd be hearing about white privilege. But nah, it's Kamala. She doesn't have that. She fits all within that intersectionality. She is a woman of color. Kamala. And she went to HBCU and she's an AKA.
And she has now secured enough delegates to become the nominee. You're going to look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color. But really as anyone who claims to have any connection to the culture. You're going to look real weird and real lonely on that side. The door needs to close behind Amber.
There you go. You heard that right. She has been dispatched to tell black men especially, get yourself in line and vote democratically. Young black men, get yourself in line and vote democratically. Or we're going to say that you're white adjacent. We're going to say you're trying to be white. We're going to say you're not down with the culture. We're going to ice you out of the culture. You're not down for the cause. You ain't black. That's essentially what she's saying. You ain't black. Simply because you choose to think for yourself. How sick is that? How oppressive is that? How disrespectful is that? How insulting is that? But that's what they think of black people. They think that black people cannot think for themselves. They think black people have this herd mentality and that somebody like Joy Reid is going to convince black men to fall in line and vote for Kamala Harris. These people are really smoking some stuff.
And she looked crazy over there. But shut the door behind her. You really are going to look crazy being on that side, given the cultural phenomenon of Vice President Kamala Debbie Harris. She's about to make history. She's about to become the first woman president. She brings together the African American community, the AAPI community, younger people. She is a whole meme. And I'm going to explain to y'all the fall of the coconut tree is a whole West Indian thing. She brings together all of the aspects of the culture. HBCUs, she's a Howard graduate. The Divine Nine, she's an AKA. She is a woman of color extraordinaire. She would be the first, person from HBCU, regular real world, to be president of the United States, in addition to being the first woman president, in addition to being the first black woman president, in addition to being the first AAPI president. She's bringing it all. And very importantly, she will be the first woman president after the fall of Roe v. Wade. A woman who brings women back to power after having our power stripped from us by 6 far right wingers on the Supreme Court, including one woman who turned on us. Baby, this is a cultural moment.
Look, they're going to do all they can to inflate Kamala Harris's appeal. Don't underestimate black women and what they're determined to do, because they're going to rally around her. They got 44,000 AKAs on this call and they raised up all this money. And you know what is the saddest thing about it? They're going to get a lot of men who are led by their women to vote for Kamala Harris. They can get a lot of men who want women like that to vote for Kamala Harris. And it's sad because you got three distinct groups of men really in America. And when I break it down by black men, these are the men I'm talking about. You got the strong men who believe in biblical values, believe in traditional values, natural order, those kind of things. You got the simps, the ones that follow their wives, who are led by their wives, whose houses are out of order, who you know them when you see them. They're weak and they're led by the women. And then you got the LGBTQ folks. The ones led by the women and the LGBTQ folks, they're going to vote for Kamala Harris. They in the bag. Joy Reid is not talking to them. Joy Reid is talking to you and I. That's who she's talking to. She's doing her best to convince us to get in line and vote for Kamala Harris. I had somebody tell me that I need to have my eyes opened and that I need to get in line and vote for my people. You know, my people are folks that believe in God and Jesus Christ. You know who my brothers and sisters are? People that believe in biblical values. People that stand on principle that line up with the word of God. Those are my brothers and my sisters. That's my people. Yeah, I may have black skin, but I'm a Christian. I'm going to believe in Jesus first. So no, Joy Reid, you will not pressure me to vote for Kamala Harris so I can be down with the culture. There's only one culture I care about, and that's the culture of Jesus Christ. Because I'm not a victim, and you're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.